Hey everyone, Kwame here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you should pick up the Sony A7 II in 2023. If you're new here, my name is Kwame and I like to take pictures. I've been using the Sony A7 II for 3 years now, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite cameras. If you're on the fence of thinking about getting this camera and you just need validation, then yes, you should pick it up. It is a great camera. I will be using mine in 2023. You can use yours. If you can find it used, great. You can buy them new still on Amazon, but this is a great camera, and if that's all you needed to hear, you just wanted validation for your purchase, go ahead and you're good to go. For the rest of you, here are 7 reasons why you should pick up the Sony A7 II in 2023. Now, I'm going to be reading off my list. I have it here on the computer, so if I look over, I'm just reading off that list for a quick second. Number 1 is high image quality. The Sony A7 II has a 24 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor, which is amazing and will give you really good ISO and dynamic range, meaning you can take really good pictures with this camera, right? It's a full frame camera. It's, you know, from low light to bright daylight, like wherever you are, you can use this camera, take pictures with it, and it's really good. Like you've seen from the examples in this video, all these pictures were taken with the A7 II, and that is amazing. I think, you know, for being such an old camera, and again, this is an old camera, it's not new, but being such an old camera, it still takes amazing pictures. And when it came out, this sensor was a sensor that was at the top of class when it was released. So you're still getting a really good sensor. Does it compare to the sensors now? No, of course not. But if you're a hobbyist, if you're someone who's just getting into photography, or you're someone who's looking to upgrade to a full frame camera on, I don't want to say on the cheap, but for a slightly discounted price, this sensor still holds up. Number 2, autofocus. I've never had it miss autofocus. Like, I've never had it miss a shot. I've never had it back focus or front focus on something. It is freakishly good. Even at its age, it is still really good. So if you have fast moving like little kids, or you're out, you know, shooting race cars, or if you're just on a hike and you're just shooting landscapes, the autofocus on this camera will be more than enough. Like, I'm serious, it's more than enough. Like, everything I've shot with this camera, I haven't gotten to a point where I'm like, ooh, I really need something with faster autofocus. Now, the A6100 does have like eye autofocus, which is really nice, but again, you know, as long as I know what I'm shooting and I know how to use the camera and frame it right, I haven't missed focus at all with this camera. Number 3, the lenses. What I love about Sony is that no matter if you have an APS-C camera or a full frame camera or an older camera, Sony keeps the same lens mount. So you have a wide range of lenses, and that's something that a lot of new photographers don't understand. They think you got to get like a really nice camera, and then you can get like a kit lens or like cheaper lenses to make your pictures look good. But it's really the opposite. Like, you can take an older camera like this one, and if you pair it with a really good lens, let's say like, oh, this 35 1.5 from Samyang, now you have a really good camera that you're going to take amazing pictures with, right? And you have such a wider range of lenses with Sony. So you have Samyang that makes them, Sigma that makes them, Tamron that makes them, and of course Sony that makes them. And so between those lens manufacturers, you have so many lenses at so many different price points that you can use. I just got done posting a video a couple weeks ago about the Tamron 17 to 28 and 28 to 200. Those are my 2 favorite, like, just travel lenses, but you can get so many more lenses. You can get specialty lenses. I have my 90mm macro lens. You can get a 35, you can get a 50, you can get an 85. Like, there's so many good lenses out there that you can use with this camera. And even though this is an older camera, if you get a newer lens, you're gonna see pictures that are just incredible. And so I love having such a wide range of lens options that you get with Sony. Number 4, this has 5-axis image stabilization, meaning you can get really, really good shots, handheld shots, with this image stabilization. Is it like at the level of the newer cameras again? No, it's not. But it's really good for like especially low light pictures, or if you want to do some long exposure pictures but you don't have a tripod, you can hand hold this. And again, you're not going to do like a 10-second exposure, but if you hold it for a second or two, you can get a really good picture. Having the in-body image stabilization means if you get a lens like this 35mm lens that isn't image stabilized, now you're going to be able to use the in-body stabilization to get a really good shot. And if you do have a lens that has image stabilization like Tamron or Sony lenses, it will work in conjunction with the image, with the in-body image stabilization, and you're going to get even more sharper pictures. You can, hold it a little bit longer. So having the in-body image stabilization, which is a mouthful to say, is really nice. Number 5, this shoots full HD video, so it's not 4K, but it's 1080p, and for a lot of us that's perfectly fine. Like for me, I don't use this camera to do any kind of like, I don't know, documentary work or anything like that, but if I just want to take a short clip of like my kid doing something at the beach, or when we had the dogs, I would take little clips of videos of them. It works great. And again, it's not 4K, and like, I picked up the A6100 because it is a 4K camera, but I don't shoot in 4K. Like even for these videos, I've only shot like once or twice, but everything else is in 1080p. So if you are thinking about getting a camera that you want to use for some video projects, the A7 II can do that. Now, is it the greatest like bit rate and codecs and all that by today's standards? No. But again, for an older camera, entry level camera, something you just want to get your hands dirty with a full frame camera, this can do it. Number 6, this body is a tank. I have dropped this camera many times. It has been in the rain, it's been in the snow, it's gotten dirty, been to the beaches, and it just works. Like these cameras are built for abuse. They're built, it was built for professionals to go out in the woods and to go into these remote areas to take pictures and videos, and it works. Like if you're not doing any of that stuff, you're just hanging out and taking pictures in the city, taking pictures on vacation, this camera is more than enough. And you pair it with a weather sealed lens, like you have a camera that is, I don't want to say indestructible, but it can take a lot of abuse. And again, I've dropped this many times and it still works. There's no cracks on the screen, everything looks good. So yeah, it's a well designed camera that can take some abuse. And number 7, the low light performance. Now this is not a A7S camera, like the camera with the bigger pixels in the lower light, but I've been able to take some pretty good pictures in low light, and I don't worry about especially on that 28-200. I can crank the ISO up on this camera and it looks pretty good. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's not, it can't see in the dark, but it looks really good, and I'm pretty happy with what it is. And again, this is an older camera, and even though it's an older camera, the image quality in low light is really amazing, especially like at dusk or at dawn. You're doing landscape pictures, it's going to be a really good camera for you. I haven't done any like night photography with it, but if we're like in when we went to Disneyland and we were in some of the rides, yeah, it was great. I could take out the camera, 28 to 17 to 28, and I was getting really good pictures at f2.8 in low light, like indoors, and it was perfectly fine. And then one bonus reason why you should pick up the A7 II is the price. Like they are a fraction of the price compared to the newer cameras. And again, if you're a hobby photographer or someone who's just getting into photography, or someone who wants an upgrade from their phone to a full frame camera, this is a good entry level camera to get. It is not cheap, but it's also not as expensive as the newest cameras. And again, these cameras are so good. Just because they're old doesn't mean that they're not good. They're still really good, and you're going to create memories and all kinds of things with this camera for a fraction of the price of the newer cameras. So those are my 7 reasons why you should pick up the Sony A7 II in 2023. I will have some links down below to where you can pick them up. But let me know if you have the A7 II. Are you keeping it? Are you looking to upgrade? What are you thinking for going into 2023? Me personally, I love this camera. I'm not getting rid of it ever. This was like the camera that I've talked about before. This is a camera that I really, really wanted when it first came out and I couldn't afford it. But now that I have it, I'm never giving up this camera. However, I have been thinking about picking up a Sony A7R II for a project that I want to work on in 2023. So maybe you will see that video coming out here shortly. But in the meantime, if you are thinking about getting the A7 II or getting a full frame camera as a hobby photographer, someone who doesn't want to spend a ton of money but want all the options of like the lenses, good dynamic range, weather sealed body, can shoot HD video, this is a camera for you. Thank you as always for watching this video. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I will talk to you later. Go pet a dog. Bye bye.